Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to look at the multi-tenancy within Red Hat OpenShift Virtualization specifically. Let's take a look at what it looks like. So here's our login screen. We can have a bunch of different identity providers on the back end here, but we're going to log in with our cluster administrator. So this is a user that can see all the things we'll see here in a moment. So as a cluster administrator, I can see all the projects, all the users' virtual machines that are assigned to each project. And then each of those projects can have resource quotas assigned to them. Those resource quotas can define things like the number of CPUs, the number of pods, the amount of storage, RAM, etc. So when we create those quotas as an operator of the cloud, I want to know how somebody's project is tracking against their quota. If we go to our home view as a cluster administrator and go to projects, I can now go find the project that I am curious about. In this case, it is demo project A. And here you can see we get a little bit of that information of how much usage is going on within a particular project. But we can dive into project A, for instance, and see overall utilization of that project. So this could be customer A, for instance, in a multi-tenant perspective. We can see that we're using 3 pods, kind of a quick breakdown of our inventory here. But more importantly, we've got resource quotas. And here we can see we've got a demo compute quota, and we've reached one of our quotas already. So we can dive into that a little bit. And here we get a view of how this project is tracking against the quotas that have been set. So here we've set a quota of 3 pods, and we're utilizing all 3 pods and getting pretty close to our memory limit as well. So as we scroll down here, we can get a little more detail about how we're tracking against each of these quotas. And again, this is from the view of a cluster administrator. So now let's go take a look at what it looks like for a user within this particular project. So here we got demo project A. So let's log out. And we're going to log in as our demo user. This user is assigned to only one project. So in that previous view as a cluster administrator, we saw all the things. Now this user has one project available to it, and it has resource quotas set against that project. So as we look here, we're logged into this virtualization view by default. You can see we've got 3 virtual machines. We're using 3 vCPUs, memory, etc. We don't have access to alerts with this particular user, so we don't see any alerts that show up, but we get some pretty good information. But let's go look at our observability and then dashboards, and we can see how we're tracking against our quotas. So here we can see our quota limit and requests. So you can see we've got a limit here of 48 CPUs, of which we're using 4 right now. We're requesting 4. Here's our CPU quota, how we're working against it with our 3 virtual machines. Again, memory usage, our memory quota, current network usage, and then general information. So we can, as a user of this cloud, I still have a lot of information, but I don't have the same level of visualization that a cluster administrator would have. For instance, if I go to our virtual machines here, you'll see we had a lot of projects listed. I can only see my one project. I don't see anybody else's projects. I can only see mine and the VMs that I've created within my project here. So hopefully that gives you a little better understanding of the multi-tenancy within OpenShift Virtualization, and stay tuned for more.